Hey everybody, welcome again to another installment of Old Reader, New Reader at Near Mint Condition. My name is Maddie, and here with my other new reader, Amanda.
Hey guys.
And our old reader, Omar.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? I asked the same question.
Oh, well, sorry.
But you'll go ahead. Y'all answer, Maddie. How's everybody doing tonight? Sorry we had to start off a little bit late. We normally start this at 8 o'clock. So tonight we started a little bit later.
So
but that's okay.
To watch The Voice, and Joe gets to watch his NHL for a little bit, so it's all good. It works out.
It's all good. That is correct. Okay.
All right.
So Justice League, the Injustice League. The reason I chose this book was because of the gentleman that wrote it, Dwayne Mcduffie, who was a African American writer. He wrote a lot of episodes of Justice League Unlimited, a lot of episodes of Justice League. As a matter of fact, I think he wrote like 95% of the episodes of Justice League Unlimited, the cartoon. And he wrote some issues of Fantastic Four. He did some stuff for Marvel and DC, and is known for creating the Milestone universe. And then they gave him the gig on Justice League, which I will talk about this run first. Okay, so the thing to keep in mind is that this run takes place after Infinite Crisis. So the world has been revamped. We got a whole new Earth. And do we? Yes, I think. Is that what happened? No, we don't. No, I'm an idiot. No, this does not take place before Infinite Crisis. This sets up Infinite Crisis. So it takes place after Identity Crisis. Mm-hmm. So it starts off with Brad Meltzer, the guy that wrote Identity Crisis. He wrote the first few issues of Justice League of America. When they canceled JLA, they renamed it Justice League of America. I'm gonna show you all a very important panel of this book, and then from issue 0 is this right here, because when you all read it, the Injustice League, this particular scene may be familiar to you. It's when the Justice League is drafting who gets to be in the new Justice League.
It sure does look familiar.
That's right, because we'll talk about that in a second. So they introduced the new characters of like Vixen to the Justice League, and this was the new Justice League right here, including
Roy.
Yes, Roy, who is now known as Red Arrow because Green Arrow told everybody to fuck off. He's too old. But his girl Black Canary decided to join the team. So that is the team right now. And then we have the Lightning Saga, which reintroduces us to one of the characters. Spoilers. And also an awesome character from James Robinson's Starman, which I'm not going to spoil that if you've never read this. And then we had Salvation Run, where they decide to put all the villains on a planet, and then the villains decide to take over that planet. And that sets up Injustice League. And during this time in Green Arrow proposed to Black Canary, and she said yes. So this kicks off with a bachelor and bachelorette party. So who wants to talk about this first?
So what Omar is talking about with that panel of the Justice League trying to, figure out who they're going to recruit for the Justice League. So right in the beginning, the first chapter, Welcome to the Hall of Doom is what it's called. And you have the first chapter, you have the panel, you have 3 people. You have obviously the Joker, you have Lex Luthor in his Lex suit, I don't know what that's called. And then that's not Cheetah. Wait, who's that again?
Cheshire.
That one girl. Cheshire, yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, that's Cheetah.
Oh, it is Cheetah. It was Cheetah. Okay. Yeah. Right. And then when you get to the next, and then you get to the next page and you see they are trying to form their own League of Injustice, and you see the last panel or the last image, and it's a bunch of different villains, and they're fighting over, who should be a member of this new Injustice League.
So that's why I mentioned this taking place after Identity Crisis, because when they get to the picture of Dr. Light, Cheetah has an issue with that because she's like, he's a rapist. And Joker's like, yeah, we're not choosing nice people to join the Injustice League. You do understand that, right? So anyway, go ahead.
Looks like my internet's catching up now, so I can talk also.
Oh, good.
Sorry, like nobody was. Yeah, so if I cut out again, take over.
Gotcha.
So
go ahead.
Most important part is that it's Ollie's it's bachelor party. That's the most
Yes.
important part of this whole book to me, is that it's the bachelor party for Green Arrow. So
And there's
we
some
start
great
off.
scenes with this.
God, it's so good. It's so good. So we start off with Hal, and he's doing an awful job. So it's Hal and Roy hanging out, and they're trying to get this bachelor party together. And Hal keeps messing up. So first he hires strippers, but he doesn't have enough money to pay the strippers.
So who do they
And
call?
so
Who do they call?
They call
Bruce
Batman. So
Batman.
he calls Batman. And he's like, "Hey, ooh, Bruce, I don't have enough cash to pay these women, and I also figured out." I was like, "Oh, you figured out that, Ollie doesn't want strippers."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but I have to pay them. Can you help me with that?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll forward you some money." Takes care of it.
Yes.
And then right after that, he figures out, "Oh shit, this is a public place. All these superheroes are gonna like be caught and their secret identities be found out." And he goes to call Batman. He's like, "Oh, hey, Bruce, I have another problem." He's like, "Oh, you figured out that, a public place is a bad idea.
Yes.
And now you want to have it at the hall." It's like, yeah. So that was all really, really cute. So they do that.
Yes.
And have the big bachelor party at the hall with all the guy superheroes. Now, during that, we also cut to Dinah, who's having her bachelorette party with all the ladies at some club and some guy that I don't know. And then you have Firestorm doing a face-off with Killer Frost, which is fun to see because we kind of saw them be
In
kind of
Infinite
like
Crisis.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing to keep in mind, though, this is a different Firestorm, too.
Well, yeah.
It's not the
Yeah.
same one from Crisis, of course.
But it's still cool because those
It's
connections
probably-
are still there with your
He's
mind.
he's probably more like the character that you all are familiar with.
Oh,
in,
from The Flash
in Flash,
and
yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow, yeah. That's what
Thank
I
you.
assume, given, yeah.
So at that point, he's kind of cut off, and that's when we have Lex and Joker and Cheetah fighting off
Yes.
and then we see the Hall of Doom, right? Because they win and bring
I wanna
Killer Frost over.
Anybody fans of the Super Friends? You see the actual Hall of Doom from the Super Friends. So ridiculous. I love it. Anyway, go ahead, Maddie.
But yeah, so we open up with this great shot with like all of the villains in the super
It is a good
right?
shot,
In
yeah.
Justice League. And it's awesome because talk on where they can see.
Oh, yeah, I highlighted on me, so you can keep talking.
Okay.
Exactly
cool,
right.
great.
What's
I
up,
know
Funny
how it works.
Valentine? Shout out to my boy, Funny Valentine. We've been bonding over Berserk and manga lately. Anyway, sorry.
Nice.
Um,
But yeah, so you see everybody. It's a huge, huge crew, and it's such an impressive shot. So I love that that's drawn.
It
It's
is.
awesome.
It's a who's
So-
who of all the supervillains.
Yeah, basically, like it's just got everybody. It's just really cool to see. So then, after that, basically the bachelorette party and the bachelor party kind of interrupted by news of Firestorm, and not interrupted where they kind of stopped partying, but like Roy Harper goes and Batman goes to go check it out and kind of check out the scene, while Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl go to check on Firestorm at the hospital. Now, of course, this goes bad for both of them.
Of course, as
And-
it should.
Everyone gets rounded up and captured, except for Hawkgirl, who warns everyone what's happening about the league and everything that's going on. Like, it's a trap. These are all these people here. But Batman gets captured. Wonder Woman gets captured. And yeah, so Batman tries to get out at first and does, and then gets caught again. But it's a nice cute
Yeah.
little scene where he's like in a straitjacket. He's like, if Joker can get out of this, I can get
Then
out
I
of this.
can too, right? Yes.
Batman does have one of my favorite lines, and it's in the 4th chapter in this book. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that part where he's in the straight jacket right here.
The straitjacket, and the
Yeah.
Joker's like, "I told you guys he would get out." Like,
Yeah,
it
course
wouldn't
you did.
take him that long.
so good, so good. So after that, the team tries to go and kind of go get them, get the crew
And you
together.
have a good moment with Ollie and Black Canary.
Oh
And she's like, yeah, there's that great scene. She's like, "Don't worry, I'll be home." Which I know for those
I
who
love
watch,
this. Yeah.
yeah, it's cute. I love seeing Dinah and him together.
Well,
it's awesome.
that was- it's
and I
like-
love that she's like a member of the league and he's not. Like I
Aren't
really
they-
enjoyed it.
Oh yeah,
They're together in Young Justice too in the TV series, aren't they together in that one?
in the
I think-
cartoon.
Yeah, I think so.
The cartoon,
Oh.
yeah, I think so.
Well, this is like during my favorite run of Green Arrow, during Judd Winnick's run, where he got them
really?
together, and then they got married, and then of course things got revamped with Flashpoint.
Yes.
So in the end, it didn't matter. But yes, you're right. This kind of new team, because Hal Jordan also gives up his place in the Justice League, and he tells John Stewart, "Hey, you should be here because you're here on Earth a lot and always picking up my shit." I love that little conversation he has with him too. He's like, "You're the guy that always takes up my shit."
Tornado.
Yeah, well, Red Tornado has been part of the league, this league, since issue 1 of Meltzer's run.
Okay, gotcha.
So you can kind of tell when the Justice League kind of gets off one by one who they're going to replace eventually with Dwayne McDuffie's Justice League.
Yeah,
but Black Lightning, my boy,
Black Lightning, yeah, Jeff, he's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I love that little conversation too about why he shaved his head. And John Stewart's like, because you're going bald, man. Don't think that we don't know that you're going bald. And he's like, no, I don't. It's because I look good.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that little banter between both of them because these are friends that have known each other for years. So it's really cool.
Yeah. And that's something we'll get to. But the banter throughout this is so real, and I love it because it's not just like quippy to be quippy, but it's like these are conversations between real friends, and I don't always see that in Justice League runs. And this well, we'll get to that, but this feels more like I'm reading a Titans book. The way that this crew gets along.
Oh, I completely
really like it.
Between them, I thought it was fantastic, especially back in the first chapter, that entire bachelor party scene. I could have just had a whole book about that. I would have been happy because it was great.
It was so good. It was.
I just like the whole conversation with when Hal Jordan's like, "How do you already know that we're having the party at the Hall of Justice?"
Yep.
And he's like, "Because I'm Batman."
He's Batman. He knows everything.
That's amazing. I love that. But yeah, back to chapter 3.
Teams. I think is it chapter 3? We have the 2 different teams. You have Red Tornado. I'm
sorry,
Green Lantern.
Back to chapter 2. So you have this team right here of Hawk Girl, who refuses to stay back even though she's injured. She's kind of a badass that way.
Band-Aid on it. Yeah.
She's a badass that way.
She is. And then you have Superman, Vixen, and Black Canary are the other team.
And this part's interesting because we learn that Vixen doesn't have her powers aren't working like they usually do.
That's right.
So normally she calls in power of animals, but right now she's not able to do that. So all she can do is kind of take power from nearby super powered individuals.
Yeah, because Superman's like, well, I guess humans are animals, so I figured it out. I'm not Batman, but I am pretty smart sometimes.
That's right.
I thought that was really cool. That had been going off and on since Meltzer's first few issues, but Dwayne McDuffie kind of threw it all out there, and now she's siphoning Superman's power. So I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool.
He needed him to choose her for that reason. He's like, I get it, but while you're doing that, like, let it be for me instead of anyone else. Exactly. Which also leads to a neat little scene later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yes, they all get there, but it does not go
according to plan because they're checking out the crime scene where Firestorm was taken. So they're checking it out, and as they're checking it out, they're attacked by General. Is it by Grodd?
Gorilla Grodd, Dr. Light, and Cheetah, and also Parasite. Because everything has been a trap. These villains have been luring the heroes to come and investigate. So it's almost you can hear Admiral what's his name? Oh my God! It's a trap. That guy from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar.
Thank you. You almost had it.
One who's never seen it.
I almost had it.
You were closer than I was. I can't believe it. But anyway, so yeah, you got Lex Luthor in his classic Lex Luthor suit from the 80s, but one that is always revamped and modernized, which I love. Akbar, thank you. Yes, Akbar. Thank you, Amanda. And Joseph de Castro. So by the time we get to the 3rd chapter, so the first chapter is drawn by Mike McKone. The 2nd chapter is drawn by Joe Benitez. So you can tell the difference. Let me show you. Mike McKone, he has a more realistic style, right?
Yeah.
More realistic style. Then you get to Joe Benitez, and let me show you the picture here. This one here, he's more cartoony. The characters have bigger jaws. And then you get to the TNA artist, Ed Benes, which...
Is this the one that drew, like... all the women.
Well, that's the panel I'm going to show. So I remember That's right
Are
here.
you talking about this panel
Yes,
with
this panel right
Very
here.
big
noticeable.
old
It was
boobs?
very
Oh
I was like,
man, this is like high school Catholic girls in trouble panel.
yeah, it
That's
pretty
what
much
I like
is.
to call it. Because he knows who the target audience is for these books at the
Oh,
time.
he knows, all right.
So it's funny because I think Dwayne Mcduffie at once commented on that. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know what artist they gave me, but he always thought that was a little over the top." But anyway, yes, and that's kind of Lex Luthor teasing Superman as to like, "Hey, I've got your team captured," and he's just trying to piss him off because that's his whole
Yeah, beating
plan.
up Geo-Force. Like,
Which I liked the whole back and forth with him and Black Lightning at that time, with Superman and Black Lightning in that moment, because Black
Yeah.
Lightning's like, listen, he knows how to get to you. You've got to
Right.
separate yourself from this anger right now because it's not helping you.
exactly.
And he's like, well, I don't. He's done to you that stuff to you too, Jefferson. And he's like, yeah, I know that, but I know this isn't going to help me. I'm not going to get anywhere with this. And so it's a
Yeah.
neat little like to see Superman be the one that like needs to be taken down a peg.
Yeah.
Is instead of being like golden boy, I'm gonna be fine with this. Is nice.
Yeah, I like that. And yeah, Amanda, you're right. It's like beat the shit out of Geoforce Day because I don't think
Yeah.
Geoforce has one line, which is kind of funny actually.
Yeah, right.
And so Gorilla Grodd is like
Beating the shit.
Cheetah runs in there and she's like, Lex, you got to stop Gorilla Grodd. He's about to kill Geoforce. Nobody gives a shit about Geoforce to this day still. But anyway, he's like, yeah, I just wanted to tenderize him and then eat him, which
Yeah,
comes into
exactly.
play later. So then we have, Superman and Jefferson find out where the Hall of Doom is, and they go there. And here's an awesome, better shot of the Hall of Doom. Look at that
Yeah, that is a
gorgeous
good shot of Hall of Doom.
Hall of Doom.
And then you have that neat convo where Jefferson's like, I think we're getting too close. Maybe they can see us. And he's like, no, they can't see us, but I can see them. And he's like, Superman just
That's
charges
awesome.
in there.
Yeah. And he just flies through there and does what Superman does, starts beating the crap out of guys. So
Exactly.
And it doesn't actually work out for them, which I like.
no, it
Yeah.
doesn't. 'Cause then they mention like dogpiling on the freaking good guys here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
funny
why
to
I
have
like
fatality.
That's why I like how the chapter 4 starts out with the quote, I have to admit, this looks pretty bad. That's
Oh,
a
yes.
great way to start it.
Right, so Superman has like the sharp kryptonite pointed at his face,
Yep.
and Lex Luthor's like, "Oh man, I'm ready to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a long time." And then along comes Firestorm, who had been at the
Yep.
hospital the whole time, and he turned his
Oh,
little
good.
sharp kryptonite into a butter knife, which
Exactly. So
Nice.
it's the one
And
thing that Lex didn't plan for. He injured him, but he didn't think that one through. I have to admit.
Well, I
Little
mean,
disappointed.
when you have a posse like this, I mean, is
Yeah, I
Firestorm
know.
really gonna come on?
There's Deathstroke.
Really?
Yeah, the whole crew.
But that's the one thing that he forgot to tell him. He was like, "Oh no, I didn't come to save Superman first. I went to
Yeah.
go and save Batman, and I'm so sorry. I accidentally
He
turned.
gave
What was he? Oh, he was gonna.
ballpoint
Oh, he gave
pen.
him a
He gave
ballpoint pen,
pen to get out of everything, and now they're
and he's
all
like,
free.
"I was
he
gonna."
was safe with that though, because he gave him the ballpoint pen because he was going to change it into
Change it.
something else that he could use
Yes.
to get out. He's like, I forgot and have time.
Yeah,
And the Batman's like, I only needed this.
which is the
they broke
greatest
it.
Batman line of the book when he's like, with a ballpoint pen, I can pick
That's
the
awesome.
locks at Fort Knox,
Fort
calling
Knox,
calling out security in Kentucky. He's
Yep,
not
security.
wrong though. He's not wrong.
He is not
So-
wrong, but that's awesome. That's Batman for you.
Then we have the big fight with like everyone's out, so they're all
Ugh.
fighting all the supervillains. But there's one moment
Yep.
that I really like as a Roy Harper fan.
Of course you
Uh-huh.
did. I know what you're talking about. This panel
So
right here.
Hawk Girl is like,
Yeah,
Hey,
that's the thing.
can I grab one of those? Like talking about his arrows. She's like, I feel really naked without like my
Yep.
weapon. And he's like, well, we'll talk about naked later. And she's like, okay,
Date.
And then she.
Meanwhile, your baby mama slipping out the window.
I love that
Right,
line.
And
baby
then
rolled
she-
out the window. And Roy's
Well-
like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, right. But
Yeah.
at this point, they were together though. They had been dating
Oh,
Hot
have
Girl
they?
and Roy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he says later in the comics that she's the best lay he's ever had.
Wow.
How sweet.
How
Lost
sweet and
song.
touching of them.
Who says chivalry is dead? So then you have this awesome fight with the rest of the cast, and I think
Yeah, everyone gets their due.
this is another one of my favorite moments is when Canary knocks out Giganta.
Yes.
It was so good.
I just like the line. If you have to wear a dress like that in battle, get some underpants or at least sit like a lady
Yeah,
when she
because
knocks
she's
her
like up
out.
in a perfect.
I was like, damn, that's so awesome. I love this.
There are a lot of great lines in this.
Yeah, and there's another one in here too. Oh yeah, it's when Geoforce gets his and Geoforce opens up the ground and takes Gorilla Grodd down there and closes it back up. And they were like, "Man, that was a little rough, don't you think?" And he was like, "He said he was gonna eat me." And that was his
It's
only
true.
line in the whole book.
Yep. Hey, it comes back around. It's a great line, though. Gotta admit.
And then you have Cheetah helping out Doctor Light, but nope, it's not. She's just trying to kill him. And
Because
Wonder
she didn't
Woman,
want to begin with because he's a rapist.
great,
And yeah,
fucking
Cheetah has
identity
standards.
crisis. And then
I
you
don't
have
know
Wonder
anything
Woman.
about that backstory, though. So,
It's all from Identity Crisis. We'll have to read that one day.
It's not
And
a
here is the panel where Wonder Woman's like, "No, we don't kill." Oh, there was a mention in here. I thought that was really cool when they do try to get Killer Frost and Lex Luthor's, inviting her into the Injustice League. She's like, "Haven't you tried this before?" And Joker says something along the lines of like, "Yeah, but he wasn't really himself during that time," which is true. Which, when you read Infinite Crisis, that will make sense when the Villains United during the Villains United storyline, why he makes that, and it'll make a lot more sense once you read all that. So yeah, it's the good guys. Spoilers win. They take down the
Yep.
bad guys. And they're like, "All right, what are we gonna do with all these bad guys?" And that's
And who takes
when
him?
Task
Amanda Connor
Force,
shows up.
Amanda Connor. And I'm so sorry, I meant to say that this book
Sorry,
is the follow up to this, because that's when they take him and dump him on a planet, and that's the Salvation
Yeah.
Run. And yeah, that's where it kind of ends.
Yeah.
Now the trade paperback also includes the other story that sets up the Tangent Universe, which is the Return of the Tangent Universe, which came back at the end of Infinite Crisis. So that does come back. And yes, I was right. These do take place after Infinite Crisis. So I was right the first time.
Oh, you were right. That's wonderful.
And then it has the Soup Kitchen story, which I really thought was really sweet. And that's just the story of Roy Harper running into one of the original Teen Titan enemies, and who is now a homeless dude. And all he wanted to do was just be remembered. So I thought it was a cute little Christmas story. Yeah. And that is it. That is the Injustice League. It's short and sweet.
Short.
It's 4 issues long, but it's one of my favorite Justice League stories. And it's a story that doesn't get a lot of love. And I really don't know why, because I think it's just as good as some of the best Justice League stories. Other than the cheesecake art that we had from Ed Benes, I thought it was almost the perfect story. What did you all think reading it the first time around?
It was a super quick read. Yeah. I was surprised. I really, like I said, the banter and just the clear relationships between all the characters, I think, is what I enjoyed the most, because that's what makes a team, right? It's not just these famous superheroes. It's how they interact. Even the villains, even them, you could see the kind of, relationships that exist between them. And I thought that was really well done, the way McDuffie wrote everything. So I think that alone is what I enjoyed the most out of it.
Okay. What about you, Maddie? What did you enjoy out of it, other than the Roy Harper panels?
I mean, it's always nice to see him, but yeah, I mean, honestly, I just really liked how everybody interacted with one another. It was just a fun story.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, like, because something I complain about a lot in here is I don't feel like the Justice League really is a family. It's always felt like in a lot of stories, and Titans picks up on this as well, is that like Justice League are like work colleagues.
Yeah.
Is how I see them. And so I did not feel that way when I was reading this, which was great for me. I really felt like they were a family. I really liked how the chemistry between everyone. you know, he obviously, McDuffie did a really great job writing these characters and writing their dialogue, and it felt really real, and I could connect with it immediately and with all of the characters. I had a really fun time reading this. Just the way that everyone kind of like looked like got each other's backs, like looked out for each other, even when things weren't going well, was fun.
Mhm.
Firestorm was great. I've never read any Firestorm where it's him and the girl
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
Um, and they were really, really fun. Like his whole inner monologue with her was really fun, and how they fought and how that was written, scripted was really cool. And I really
Yeah.
like the art. I like the colors a lot. It was just really
Oh, colors
colorful,
are
very of the time. It was fun. Um,
yes.
yeah, I really dug it.
Good, good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do too with finding the right book that you enjoy. Because Justice League, it's a comic book that's been around for 60 years or and plus, right? So you're gonna run into stories where they're always just out in adventures, and there's not that moment of uh, bondness, right? And I think that's
Mhm.
the difficult part about this show is we want to read a lot of these classic stories, but like for example, we're going to read the Dark Phoenix saga, right? But I don't think the Dark Phoenix saga alone, the Dark Phoenix saga, you're literally introduced to Kitty Pryde, right? Kitty
Yeah.
Pryde is the beginning of this Dark Phoenix saga and ends with issue 137. But for people like me, I had years of getting to know these characters and building
Yeah.
that family with them. So it means a lot more to me when one of them dies, or they're losing a loved one, or another team member joins and one leaves. Whereas to you all, you just read 12 issues or something and you're like, that was okay, you know. Or
Yeah. No, it's
so
true.
it's very difficult for a writer, I think, unless they're an exceptionally well good writer, to build that automatic, like, man, I really like these characters, especially within the span of 4 issues. And maybe that's why I picked it as one of the
Good.
best Justice League stories.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And you said he wrote for Justice League Unlimited?
Yes, he wrote 95% of the episodes of
You know,
Justice League
that
Unlimited.
makes sense because
It's
I love
reads like
Justice
an
League
episode.
Unlimited.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they
Yeah.
were
you can see
phenomenal.
genuine love and humor, like
Mhm.
love for his characters, and like a humor about them that like you can tell when somebody's like really gets it.
Yeah, he knew how to write the characters, and that's always a plus for me. Very few writers, I want to say, like, I'm gonna go back and talk about Jonathan Hickman. I love Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, and I like his Fantastic Four. But I feel like his
Love it.
Fantastic Four was a better run because it was more about the family. Whereas in
Agreed.
Avengers, he built this gigantic world of so many characters that he gives very little time to focus. Yes, there's that little bromance of Hyperion and Thor, right? But that was just in one issue. Whereas
Mhm.
if he had just had 5 characters or 7 Avengers, and had we read 50 something comics of them, then you would have gotten that time that you wanted with the characters, right? And gotten to build that rapport and
Yeah.
care about them. I think very few writers can do it. I think Kurt Busiek is a perfect example of somebody that can do that. I think his Avengers run it's my favorite Avengers run, and I hope to read one day with you all soon. It's because I think he can do what Chris Claremont and other writers can do, is pull these characters that have been around for years and make you feel like you're reading about them for the first time again, and but also respecting the history that has come before. I I I think very few writers can do that. Mark Waid is another one that can do that because he's phenomenal. For example, like Kingdom Come, right? We really didn't have to know that much of the history because he kind of builds it on its own, even though it's a future world.
Yeah.
He does such a phenomenal job of introducing you to these future characters that you didn't have to read 30 years of DC to understand.
Mm-mm.
Uh, he did. You're right, Ray. He wrote a few of the. Amanda is a multitasking master. Believe me.
Yes.
Uh,
Babysit my old kid. Sit down. Or sorry.
no, you're fine. So Dwayne Mcduffie passed away a couple of years ago, and the very last thing he worked on was my all-time favorite Justice League story, which is Tower of Babel, written by Mark Waid. They made it into an animated movie, and it was called Doom, Justice League Doom,
Mhm.
where instead of Ra's al Ghul, it was Vandal Savage that was the villain. But he still took aspects, the good aspects from Tower of Babel, and put it into an animated movie. And that was the last thing. I think they even dedicated the movie to him. He died oh man, I mean, he was only 49 years old. Like he was a young
How did he
guy when he
pass
died.
away?
It was a complications from heart surgery. He was having a heart attack,
Oh,
and it was unexpected. Very, very,
yeah.
very sad because you always see like these young guys that like pass away like that, and they didn't. You get to see their
Get their
full
due, yeah.
potential. Yeah, so I hated to hear about that when he passed away because he was one of my favorite Justice League writers. He was one of my favorite DC animated writers. So yeah. Okay. So what would you all give this out of 10?
Oh, yeah.
I give it a 10 out of 10.
Damn, that's what I want to hear.
I mean, it gave me exactly what I wanted. It's a
Yeah.
perfect comic book story. I didn't feel there were any lulls in it. It didn't have to be more than it was. It was just fun, and I enjoyed it. And it was a quick read, and it gave me all of the regular tropes I would want. I'm really happy with it. It did
There
it.
you go.
There it is.
Okay. What about you, Amanda? What would you give this?
I think I would also give it a 10 out of 10 because
Wow.
I enjoyed, like I said, it was such a quick read. I remember texting, you said, wait, is that it? It's over? And what I loved about the writing is not only just the way he just built these instant relationships for me, who has never read any of the other previous stuff, but also it left me wanting to keep reading about some of these characters and maybe like a lot of these characters that maybe I didn't like before when I read other runs or other things that we've read with them in it. And I'm sorry, I always love seeing supervillains team up. I think that's awesome. That's why I always get a kick out like the Sinister Six and stuff like that. It just to me is great when you see a bunch of supervillains team up together and they do it well to a point until they fail miraculously. So
Right.
yeah, it was great. And that artwork, the colors are just so lively and vibrant. It was like I could have been watching like a cartoon television show, honestly, the way it was the way it was colored. So I truly enjoyed that.
I am liking these ratings. As for me, I am going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. And the only reason is because I wish the art was more consistent. I wish they had just chosen one artist that stuck with the 4 issues instead of there's 3 artists and there's only 4 issues. And I wish it was Mike McKone because I'm a huge fan of his artwork. I like Ed McGuinness, but I don't think it really fit the story. I'm sorry, not Ed McGuinness, Ed Bennis.
Yeah.
I always thought it was funny that they teamed him up with Gail Simone on Birds of Prey because this is the guy that drew Gail Simone's run on Birds of Prey.
Yeah, things about his art.
But here's the
these
thing,
they look
though.
like some good, powerful, strong women. I mean,
But
big
I
boobs
was gonna
aside.
say, I mean, he also draws some really pretty men too. But
yeah, I saw Red Tornado's junk over there. It was nothing to,
okay,
that was pretty nice.
nope, I wasn't talking about his junk. I was talking about how pretty the faces are. Hey, save it for Women's History Month next month, okay?
Yeah, we'll talk. Well, you're not saying we get to read Grayson, so I'll get to talk about that.
Well, it is anyway. The point I was making is that it worked because that book went to one of the best-selling books, and it could be due to his art, or it could be due to Gail Simone's phenomenal writing. I like to think it's her phenomenal writing, but the first thing you see at a comic book store is, of course, the cover, and that cover featured Huntress, Black Canary, and Oracle, and they looked really pretty, like Jim Lee would have drawn them, and that's what sold comics back in the 90s. So I don't know, maybe it's it was probably a mix of all. So yes, so 9.5 out of 10 for me. Otherwise it was a perfect story because I leave out the tangent story because that kind of went nowhere, sadly, but
yeah,
that's DC for you. Okay. So I saw a couple people in the chat say they would give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Nick? There's no such thing as being late in this place.
No.
We were 30 minutes late to start anyway, so there you go. Okay.
Yes.
So next week we are going to be reading Greg Ruckus' run on Wonder Woman. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that he's had 2 runs on Wonder Woman. He had the original run, which happens before Infinite Crisis, and he has the Rebirth Wonder Woman.
We'll be reading this beautiful book.
That's right. Now there are 2 volumes of that and a third one coming out in June. I've asked these ladies, depending on how fast they read, how much they want to cover, because we could cover everything up until Infinite Crisis, which is where his run ends, or we could stop at volume 2, which is right before the storyline where Sacrifice begins, which is the Superman crossover event. But it's also very important because it leads to one of the biggest shocking moments in Wonder Woman history. So yes, that's another thing to keep in mind when you watch the show, is we do talk about spoilers because we have to talk about everything in the stories. So
of course.
So I will leave it up to the ladies, and we'll find out, I'm sure, the day of what we're talking about.
Well, I was glad this was short, so I could go right into. I mean, I had started Wonder Woman before this because Spider-Man Blue was also short, and then this was short, so I was able to keep reading Wonder Woman because I was like, I know a couple volumes, And I guess I'll put my Marie Kondo book down and focus on Wonder Woman and save my decluttering for another day.
We don't talk about that woman on this show.
Yes. Because no one said I had to get rid of my comic books, but I could get rid of some of my clothes, my pots and pans, and definitely some stuff in my attic. So we'll see how that goes.
So yes, so next week we will be talking about Wonder Woman pre-Infinite Crisis. It's actually my favorite Wonder Woman run. I can't wait to reread it. I've read it twice. This is my third read through. It held up the second time, and I'm sure it will hold up the second time or third time that I read it. But good to know what these fine ladies will think. As far as there's a question, Ray, that's the one. This is the one that includes.
I was gonna say Ray. That's the
one that's how it kicks off with that. It kicks off with that story, the Batman story. I think is how Volume 1 kicks off. Let's see. Oh, Joe Chip was asking how we feel about the Phil Jimenez
I've never read it. I don't think Maddie has either.
No, I thought about getting the omnibus, but I wasn't sure. So
it's beautiful. I love his artwork. It's not one of my favorite runs because I don't know. He is heavily inspired by, of course, George Perez, but he's also very wordy. And I don't mind wordy as long as it makes sense to be wordy, but sometimes it's a little long-winded, so it's a little rough to read. I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to because I've always heard that it was a good run, and I read it back about 10 years ago. Now, I did get the omnibus because I'm an idiot. I love oversized artwork, but his artwork is completely beautiful. He draws one of my favorite Wonder Women. Yes, that. He draws her magnificently because I don't know. I want to say he draws her better than George Perez does, just because of the amount of detail that he puts on her. It's beautiful, but not a big fan of his storytelling. Shut up, Joe Chip.
You hit the nail on the head, Joe.
Really?
Our cousin,
really?
Mike, his brother Tommy said the same thing Sunday when we were filming our comic book haul.
That's it. I'm gonna shut up the rest of the show. That's it. I'm done talking. You two can take over.
Baby.
What the fuck? It is not Women's History Month yet. Stop it.
Oh, so we can't make jokes?
So we can't make jokes?
Wow.
Wait till next month. Where I will reserve myself from being sexist or whatever role I'm supposed to play that month.
Just Omar month.
Just be myself. Just be myself. Awesome. Okay, good. And the week after that, so that book is being read.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do? Is that Dark Phoenix?
Yeah, it's Dark Phoenix. That's my birthday week. Okay, so then we have Tuesday, March 5th is
Red Sonja.
Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is Tuesday, March 5th. Tuesday, March 5th. Fine. March 12th, which is my birthday week, is Dark Phoenix Saga. That leaves us the 19th and the 26th for you two fine ladies to decide. You can each pick one.
All right.
Or we can put a poll up on the YouTube channel and let people decide on what.
Thank you.
What did you pick?
Red Sonja.
You picked Red Sonja.
All right,
Are we gonna read volumes 1 and 2? Or what do you want? What do you want to read?
I thought you wanted to read like Supergirl being super.
No,
I know. I bought a couple, guys.
Beautiful woman. She needs to be read about. Okay.
It's true. Yeah. I bought Lazarus. I bought She-Hulk, Supergirl being super, Rat Queens Volume 1. All these things that we might get to read for Women's History.
Well, You gotta look. Y'all get 4 days, okay? That's a lot. That's a
Well,
lot.
Amanda, listen, you can come on Fangirls. We'll talk about one
There
of
we
those.
go. That
Wait a
sounds
minute.
good to me.
Wait a minute. Why am I not being invited on Fangirls? Is it
Sorry.
because it's only ladies? Because that seems pretty sexist,
Well, we
Maddie.
have a lot of guys on the show.
That's right.
A lot
Yeah.
of
Kyle
male
Starks and Terry
creators and
Moore
stuff.
and Mark Wade and all sorts of guys.
How am I not invited? I'm up to that caliber of Mark Wade and Terry Moore. I'm just as knowledgeable as those guys, except they write comic books. And I
You
wasted
want
my
to write
time being
comics.
a freaking computer science major.
Yeah.
12 de Marzo. That's right, The Will. It's good to see you on here again, buddy. That's Dark Phoenix Saga. I can't wait to read that. And then Red Sonja, and then whatever Amanda chooses for the 26th or the 19th. You two can choose. It doesn't matter. She's on mute. I think she doesn't know that.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, my child's kind of whining over there. No, I said I might throw Joe Chip a bone and do Lazarus, but I don't know.
That's a good book, except it's not finished yet.
I know it's not finished, but yeah.
It's coming back. It's coming back from hiatus though. In volume 3, the hardcover comes out in June.
There you go.
I'd love to read it. You guys. There's no way you don't love it. I'm actually surprised that Maddie didn't fall in love with Velvet as much as I did.
I mean,
So
I
she
love
may
Velvet
not like it. Maybe it was because she was such a strong female lead.
Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman run, so maybe she'll like it because it's Greg Rucka.
Well, yeah.
I love her.
I just thought she just had an issue with strong women lead characters. Like that's why she didn't like Velvet as much as I did.
Come on, listen.
Yeah. Eric asked if we read digital at all. I'm assuming he means like
often.
yes, we do.
Often.
Like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we read digitally very often.
I'm a guy that likes real things, so I like to hold my books. So that's how I read them.
It's easy for me to read at work if I.
Yeah, of course.
Read. I can have that on one screen and then work on the other screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Fatale.
Yeah, a lot of people.
That's a great book too, and that one's finished, so we could read that too. But then I feel like we read a lot of Ed Brubaker, and it does have a really strong female lead, but for the wrong reasons.
I say for my week, we'll just do a poll because there's a ton of stuff I want to read that I have or don't have, and then we'll let them choose if that's good with the chat. If we put up a poll on social media, YouTube, whatever, and you guys can choose what our last book of the month would be.
Okay, so then we choose one of Amanda's 3 or 4 books that she got.
Yes, that sounds good to me.
Which she got Spawn, Savage Dragon, Street Fighter, and Transformers IDW. I'll make the poll, and then you'll all be forced to read those fucking books. Oh, sorry, Lyndon.
It's okay. She can't hear you.
Psycho Cleveland's in the chat. That's my boy. What's up, buddy? Are you sober? Ooh, Black Widow Deadly Origins is awesome. I need to get that shirt for my wife, Omar. I'll ship it to you at a discounted price. I love this place. Let me tell you something. You ever go to Vegas and everybody says eat an egg slut? It is worth waiting in line. I was waiting in line for 2 hours for these delicious egg sandwiches that they have there at breakfast time. So it does help to be really drunk too.
Exactly.
Kyler 5 sips of bourbon. Awesome. What kind of bourbon are you drinking? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, Kyler had asked if there's a screen size we recommend for. I mean, I read on my Surface, so that's
how I read.
13 inches. Is that how big the screen is on a Surface?
I don't know what they got at the Microsoft store.
Or 15. I don't know. But I think all of us read on our Surface Pros when we read. If that helps.
I have had
read on Comixology where it does the guided reading. That's my preference because guided reading is such like a different experience than reading like just from the whole page together.
Yeah,
it doesn't work for everything, but for the books it does work for. It's really nice.
Especially when there's surprises in different panels, and then you're like, "Ooh, yeah."
Yeah.
Jim Mint just hit me up on Facebook saying he needs my help. I guess he needs me to drop some knowledge on him.
Well, there you go.
I'm sure some Transformers question.
Minty.
He did. He said, "Yo, Minty." He said, "Yo, Minty." I'm like,
Well,
I
so he's
couldn't
admitting
use that
to losing
anymore.
responsibilities. All right.
Wait
Yeah,
a minute. I thought I couldn't use that anymore, Steven. Anyway,
Yeah, I changed it all up.
so that is going to be the rest of our month for or that actually. Oh shit, we're up. We got a whole month planned ahead.
Yeah, we do.
Because
That's pretty
Play
awesome.
the game.
we will also be at C2E2 the week
Yes.
of the
21st and
21st.
24th.
Oh, and a quick shout out to our boy Jeff Hartz, who is a viewer.
Yes.
He had a heart attack and he's doing
Yeah.
fine. He's going back home today. He's going to be a C2E2 and has invited us to go and hang out with him. So yeah, we look forward to it. If you're going to be there, let us know. And we love to, hang out. And
Yeah, definitely.
I love to drink. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Bourbon and cranberry juice.
We're going to go party. So
That's right. That's right. Although it is Lent, and I haven't figured out what I'm going to give up yet.
It won't
Usually,
be bourbon and
not
cranberry
alcohol.
juice.
let me tell you something. The year I gave up alcohol, I was such a bitch. God, I hated that year. That was probably the worst thing I ever gave up.
Yeah.
Cursing was just as bad. But anyway,
done.
so that's the whole month. We'd love for you all to read with us. So we've got all this scheduled out now, except for the book on the 26th. Well, Amanda will make a poll of the books that
Yes.
we're going to read. So
make sure
there
you
go.
get on there and vote for those guys.
Maddie,
Especially-
which Red Sonja books, by the way, so I go ahead and get them because I don't own any. That's going to be our very first new readers or
Reversal?
new readers, old
I'm
reader.
so excited. Oh.
That is awesome.
Gale Simone Volume 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
It's nuts.
Listen,
It's a
You have
quick
to read
read.
it all
Y'all
together.
are lucky I love Gail Simone. All right.
Like, he wouldn't read that for you.
I have to buy it. You all get digital copies.
I will literally buy it on Comixology. You can just log on to mine. I don't care.
She's like, I'll do it. Just do it.
Okay. Calm down.
I'll do that for my girl.
C2E2 is a comic convention in Chicago. Weapon Venom. Love the name, by the way. And it is March 22nd to. Is it 22nd? Yes. March 22nd through the 24th. Yeah.
Which is that Sunday. Yeah.
Where did Kristen go? What was Psycho Cleveland? Y'all getting those names. So a few years, what was the hell was it? It was
Everybody thought Kristen was on near mint.
Two months ago we gave away a gift card on Omni Bros, and my question was, name me two of my co-hosts on my show because there's several you can choose from. Most of the answers were Amanda and Maddie, of course, because that's who watches both shows. But Psycho Cleveland, for some reason, said Dan and Kristen, and I'm like, Dan, that guy? You remember him? Which makes sense.
Kristen, lives in Kentucky too. She's 3 hours away.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah. So literally, I'll meet up anytime. But
that's awesome.
One day we'll get her in town. She can join us.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd like to meet some. What do they call you guys? Fangirls. Omnisis. I'm not what
you can Omnisis. We do that.
Yeah, okay.
Omnihose.
Omnihose.
That was my suggestion.
Much more palatable.
Hilarious.
Sounds like an Omar suggestion too.
It was my suggestion. I'm a classy dude. And then I like the one you came up with, the bookshelf. Bombshells.
I think I'm gonna use it for myself if I ever do my own thing.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to have me on that show then.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me and Terry Moore and Mark Wade. It's a pretty good combo. Okay. So I believe that is it. Unless anything else. Was there any questions in the chat? Did we cover everything? I can't keep up with
Psycho Cleveland.
Psycho Cleveland.
Fine.
Victor, I am surrounded by beautiful women. I have 2 little girls, a beautiful wife, and I have these 2 lovely co-hosts. So yes, it's wonderful.
Oh, and real quick, this isn't related to anything, but if you're watching this video, please go read Mr. Miracle by Tom King.
Yes, I can't wait to read that. But someone told me I can't buy it yet because I could just borrow their copy, and I was about to buy it at half price.
I said you could have my copy, and I'll go get the exclusive hardcover at the comic book shop.
I know. I just really want to read it.
Okay.
And Tom King keeps tweeting about some super secret stuff he's doing.
The DC Deceased or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought that was Tom Taylor that was doing that. I don't know. I can't keep up with
Tom
tweets.
King's doing something.
He's always effing something up.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
Cycle
forgiving
Cleveland
right now
missed our
because
thing.
it was
Cycle
Ruckus.
Cleveland, we're reading Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman next week. In case I don't think
Yeah.
he missed that part.
He also
Sorry.
like myself also likes strong female leads.
Good.
I do
So
too.
he's all about that.
Oh, thanks, Victor.
Probably more so than Maddie. More so than Maddie because we love Velvet. We love
dare
Velvet.
Because we love
Cycle
that and she
We're talking
didn't
about
care.
literally strong female leads. Then nobody listen. It's me. I'm the buff woman queen. Okay, Big
She is.
Varda, Wonder Woman,
She's
Red
all about Big
Star,
Barter right now. You should see her Instagram stories. It's all
my
about
new wife.
Is this a cosplay for you later on?
Absolutely.
Of course it is. Why did I
Add
even
her
ask
to the
that?
list.
Why would I ask that? That's so stupid. Okay, yeah, of course
My
I see that.
girl.
Okay, so if that's all the questions and that's all
Yeah.
the concerns,
all the questions.
Amanda, would you please
Yeah.
take us out?
Yes. All right. So thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and ring that bell to get notifications of when we have more near mint condition content airing. Follow us on all of our social media channels at Near Mint Con. And remember, guys, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint. Thank you and have a good evening, everyone.
Good night, everybody.